We are live on Facebook. Okay, this is good. It says it's streaming now live on Facebook. Thank you all for being so patient with my technical difficulties. We're nearly 8 minutes late, and it is all my fault, and I'm so sorry. So I have Andrea Hyatt with us, and we are both working from home. I don't know about you, Andrea, but I've got the top half all done, but I've got PJ bottoms. Do you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm wearing total workout clothes, but I did my hair and makeup, so I don't know. From here up, I am done.
That's kind of exactly how I feel, so no worries.
My sister said that she saw this meme about you have day jammies and night jammies. You go from your day jammies to your night jammies. I really like that.
Yeah. It's true. Everybody that's working from home, they all have their, I bet less people are showering, more people are wearing their just jammies all day. I don't put on makeup, but very, very, very rarely when I have to go do a live video. How about you?
Yeah. Same here. My skin looks really great now that it hasn't been plugged up with makeup forever.
It's actually a great time to do skin treatment stuff if you're going to do like a regimen or whatever.
Right? I was thinking about that. I should like exfoliate, you know, those like Biore things that like suck out all the
the pore strips.
Yes. Get some of that. Like,
all right.
5 days. Sorry, go ahead. I said my skin will look good for like 5 days. That's it.
It's supposed to last longer than that, but anyways, all right. So for those of you that don't know, I've got Andrea Hyatt on here. Andrea is the title representative for American Title Solutions out of Fair Lawn, Ohio. And Andrea, can you introduce me? Tell me a little bit about yourself and what company you work for and what they do. Can you tell me that?
Yes, so I'm Andrea Hyatt, and so Kingdom Title is our parent company, and we have a couple of other affiliates that are connected with us, and American Title Solutions is our joint venture in this area, and so I represent as well. I'm sorry, I got sidetracked. What was it?
Okay. So you work for American Title Solutions. Tell me what a title company is and what the primary purpose of the title company is.
Okay, so a title company is a company. So I get this question a lot from people who are in the real estate industry. They want to know what in the world a title company does. And when I first started this job, I was like, I don't really know either. Of course, that was ages ago. Right. But it's for real estate. So if you're buying or selling a house or a property or a piece of land, the title company is the company that's going to take the piece of property and make sure that as the new buyer that you are going to own it 100%. So we're doing a title search to check the chain of title to make sure there are no liens attached to the property. We're handling all of that paperwork. We're coordinating with the bank if you're getting financing, and then we take care of all of the money. So if you're an owner of a house, we're going to make sure that the mortgage is paid off if you have a mortgage on the property, and if you're getting financing to purchase a house, we are, like I said, coordinating with the bank to make sure that all those monies are taken care of, and we do the actual transfer at the courthouse. So when you see documents that are filed online, we are the company that handles that. So we take care of the paperwork and the money in the transaction to make sure that they've all been done according to the contract. That's our fiduciary responsibility, is to make sure that the contract is legally done correctly.
That's amazing. So I think title companies are the most underrepresented aspect of our industry because, buyers and sellers, they kind of know what a title company is after we may explain it to them. But, everyone else, all they talk about is the mortgage people and the realtors, But you guys play a huge role in the real estate industry, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I think we're definitely one of the three legs of the stool. You've got the realtor, you've got the lender, and then you've got title. And without any one of those pieces, your stool would not be standing. So yes, absolutely. We are
vital.
Absolutely.
You're essential. And that brings me into So that brings me into my next question, because, you know, everybody's talking about, I even had, I have a client right now who's looking at houses. She's in the middle of closing, and she's working with American Title Solutions. And she posted on Facebook her own post on her own personal page and said, you know, we're so excited about closing on our house in next week. And somebody commented and said, you're not going to close because the government shut down and the courthouses are shut down, and you basically can't close on your house. And obviously this is misinformation. There's a lot of misinformation going on right now. And, you know, so I just commented,
right?
What?
I said she immediately threw up and called you.
Actually, she held her own. She was like, no, you know, I've been reassured that we're still going to close on our house. So she held her own. But I saw the post and I was thinking about you. Yeah. So I was thinking about you, and so my question here is, or my next question for you is are you considered under this quarantine? We're under quarantine till April 30th. Are you considered essential, A? And B, if you're considered essential, what are you doing to make sure that houses are still closing or transactions are still closing and you guys are still showing up for work every day? You know, so tell me a little bit about all of that.
Hang on one second. My little guy just came in the room.
That's fine.
Can you go watch the show with your brother? All right. We're going to have a guest today.
Right. Hi.
You say hi?
You look exactly like your mom and your dad. I see the mix.
Okay, so to answer your question, yes, we are considered essential. Title companies under that the governor's, yes, you can have some chapstick, are considered essential. So if you are in, it's insurance, whether it's like property, casualty, health insurance, or title insurance for real estate, we are considered essential. And you know, it's really challenging. I know it's really challenging for everybody who's not essential. You know, you're like me, you're staying home with your kids. I'm working from home. Everything has its challenges, and I think it's new for all of us to try to figure out how to do this the right way. Yeah. And we're trying to be really safe about it. And it's okay, that's chapstick. Okay, we're gonna put the lid on it. No, we're done. Okay, sorry. I play with it. You can play with chapstick. Okay. And I want my lips. Okay, sorry.
No, it's okay, Andrea. So the one thing that I love about working from home is that, you know, when we do stuff like this and we go live, half of us have our kids home. Actually, more than half of us have our kids home with us. And this is how we adjust, right? We ebb and we flow. So,
and honestly, I love this. I love the extra time with my kids. So this is really great.
Yeah.
Okay. So I got some, but thank you, buddy. I got some. Okay. So what are we doing? Here we go.
We were talking about how title is essential and how, and you're right. It is difficult right now because nobody's been through this before. This is a brand new experience for everybody. So how are you moving forward with closings if you're not really going into the office as much?
Okay, so the first thing that we do for all of our offices across the board is they're like on lockdown. So we've pulled a lot of people out of the office and they're working from home. We're really fortunate enough. The people that we have supporting us, our IT department and our management team that is all of this. They're super techie. Obviously, our IT guys are.
Right.
But they're really smart about how we deal with people's information and how we are able to access everything from home. So first of all, from a security standpoint, we have everything encrypted. They're on secure servers. You know, we're logging in through special VPN token things.
Right.
So that was the first thing, you know, for putting everybody at home. Well, not everybody, but a lot of our staff at home, you know, how do we keep our data secure? I mean, that's, you know, top of mind. So that was our first hurdle is, you know, making sure everybody's information is safe. So we've got that for our people that are working from home, doing that. And really it's a lot of our support staff that are working from home. If they don't have to be in the office, that's who we have kind of set up there.
Sure.
And then we do have some essentials that are still in the office. You know, we do a lot online. We've got a lot of electronic files. And, you know, in this day and age, I think we've done a really good job overall as an industry at reducing paper.
Yeah.
You know, not that it's necessarily wasteful, but we've cut down on that a lot. So we've got a lot stored in our servers and electronically, but we still do have paper files. Like, bottom line, you still just sometimes need a hard file. So we've got our essential personnel in the office, and they are working on those files. So for those people, so we've got our office doors locked. People cannot just come in and out. They basically have to be sanitized down before they come in. I made a joke earlier that they're bathing sanitizer. Anybody who comes to the office, but they are. So we've got clean rooms that we're using for anybody that has to come in for an actual physical notary signing. So they're sanitized before they come in. They go to our clean room that has been completely wiped down. We have the notary come in who has been bathed in sanitizer. When they're signing documents, they're completely separate. Gloves are being worn. Pens are sanitized. They're not shared. Paperwork is not shared.
Right.
You know, I wish there was a way that you could like dip the paper in sanitizer and, you know, move it to
right. No, I get it.
But from that instance, I mean, we are maintaining the 6-foot rule, even inside of our office and inside those clean rooms. So nobody is breaking that barrier.
Right.
And then, you know, as they leave, you know, people are still wearing gloves, handling any of that paperwork or anything that has to be scanned. Internally in our office, everybody's every surface has to be wiped down with sanitizer.
Right. All the time.
Yeah. I mean, it literally, you just like keep it next to your desk, and it's every hour they're wiping everything down. So for the notaries that are actually going, because we do have to go to other people's houses, or we're doing drive-by notaries.
Right.
Creative. They're literally like, the cars are like driving next to each other. Documents into the car. I mean, gloved hands, you know, things that pens have been sanitized. If they don't have a pen, they're signing the documents and then they're passing them back. I mean, it's a drive-by notary.
Right.
You know, we're getting creative. One of the things, we've gotten a lot of questions on the electronic notaries, you know. We are doing those in instances where we can. However, not every single bank is accepting that electronic notary. So we're just going case by case. We're asking the bank, we're letting them know that we have the capability to do the electronic notary. And if they're allowing it, then we're handling those that way. But if they're not, then we can't.
Right, in-person stuff. So there is a lot more electronic things going on for closings of homes in particular. And that's what we're talking about here. Is that's really the only time that you have clients that need to come into the office or that you need to send somebody out for signatures is for closing and title transfer of the home. So, you know, when they come in the office, bathed in sanitizer. When you send them out, bathed in sanitizer. We're being really clean. But my question is, and I'm sure a lot of people want to know this too, is if the courthouses are closed, how are you still filing for title transfer? Is that still happening? Is it just Summit County? Is it Stark, Medina, Portage, Cuyahoga? Tell me about that.
Yeah, that's a really, really good question. So not every county is closed. Some counties are open. However, they either have limited access to outside public, or no access to outside public. And what that means is like general public just coming in off of the streets. Right. So they are in some instances, and this is county by county. So we're, you know, constantly calling and updating, you know, when we've got a county that we're working with, if they're outside of our territory that we typically close in, then we're going to call them and ask them what their protocol is. Right. A majority of them are allowing filings. That's where we upload everything electronically, send it to the county. They check all of the documents electronically, and then they file it right there in the spot. So it's great. Yeah. I mean, it's like, you know, a lot of people are doing it this way. So their system is a little bogged down. So it's not like lickety split.
Right.
But it's same day
That's awesome. I mean, that's truly cool because I've heard, you know, being in the real estate industry, I don't know about you, but I'm with eXp Realty, I'm connected with agents from my brokerage that are all over the nation, Canada, Australia, United Kingdom. And a lot of them are not only shut down from a real estate perspective but people who were like a day before closing were
Oh,
told they couldn't close because their offices, their judiciary system didn't have the ability to electronically file. So the fact that we have in Ohio, and specifically, I shouldn't speak for Southern Ohio, but Northeast Ohio, we have the ability to do electronic filing so that because real estate was deemed essential in Ohio, and we still have the ability to move forward and continue closing houses. Obviously, we're doing it a lot safer, but that's really awesome. I mean, that's amazing. That's a huge step above the rest of the U.S. for Ohio, huh?
it's really great. Kudos to Governor DeWine and everything that he has done. He has been tremendous in his leadership throughout this whole thing. So, I mean, seriously, so much respect for the way that he has led. I did want to touch on one of the other notes that you mentioned, you know, because there are some counties that are closed. Some of the smaller counties or outlying counties that maybe they're more rural, and so they're not getting as much traffic, and so they don't feel like they should or need to be open.
Mm-hmm.
For those counties, what our underwriter has done is given us gap insurance. And what this means is we're able to actually execute on the contract. We're able to sign all the documents, get everything, including all the monies, into our system, into our accounts, and then we will close on the file, which means keys can be released, funds can be dispersed, as long as if you are working with a bank, if you're getting financed as the buyer, if you're working with a bank that accepts that, and most banks are, I don't know of any off the top of my head that are not allowing us this way, but they'll make, as long as we have the funds, the bank has approved it, we've got the funds in our system, we will disperse. And so our underwriter, Old Republic, they are allowing us to disperse that way. So we have gap insurance.
That's awesome.
Cover from the time that everything is executed and we've got the funds and it's closed. Okay, so it's going to cover it from that time until the date when we can physically go to the courthouse if it's closed and file it in person. Okay, so it's, you know, a tremendous, it's a really good thing. Like you said, you know, for Ohio, it's tremendous that our underwriter is allowing us to do this. And so we're so thankful for them. They're such a great underwriter and
Wow.
so good at problem solving for us. And they're, you know, they've worked really hard to make sure that we can still function semi-normally during this time. So we're getting it done. We're getting things closed, even when it seems like it should be impossible. So
That's awesome. I mean, you know, off the top of your head, and I know I'm kind of putting you on the spot, can you name a county or two where the gap insurance is being used because the courthouses are closed? Just trying to think. Do you know any?
you know, I actually have a link that has a list of all of the county courthouses that are either opened or closed and what their abilities are. If
Can you
you
send it to me?
absolutely
I
can.
will. I will put it in the comments under this video so people can look it up and they can know. Not that it really, because either way, what you're saying is whether we close through gap insurance or we close through electronic filing, we're still closing houses in Ohio, is what you're saying. But it would be cool if people wanted to look up what county they're in and how that's all working. If we can do something like that, that's awesome.
So one of the things, if you go to my Facebook page, which is Title Girl Andrea, I'm trying to look it up. I'll send you the link real fast.
Okay. Real quick, while she's doing this, I see we've had a lot of viewers. We've had anywhere between 7 and 12 viewers at a time on this video. So if any of you have any questions, post it in the comments real quick, and we'll make sure that Andrea answers your questions before we jump off here. Do a couple more things. So this is not really related to quarantining.
Okay.
But a lot of people are, I get the same question every time from my clients, and they ask me what kind of deed do they want, and I describe the deeds for them. But the other thing is what's that extra title insurance, that $20 to $40 extra coverage? Is it really necessary? And what does it cover? And I usually give them the same spiel from what I've heard, but you know what? While I have you on here in, 20-second CNN, what does that cover? What is it?
Okay. Hold on a second. I just sent you the link. I just wanted to make sure that.
Okay, awesome.
Sorry. Okay, so the closing protection is what you're asking about.
Yes,
Okay.
closing protection coverage.
Yep, closing protection coverage is during the time that we have the funds. So let's just say you're buying a house and your down payment plus your lender fees, all your closing costs, let's just say they're $10,000. So you come to our office and you've got your $10,000 certified check and you give it to us. And we actually have it in our possession, and we not cash the check, we deposit the check into our IOTA account. So during that time that we have your funds, that we have possession of it, that it leaves your fingers, it's going to cover those funds that you bring to us from the time that you give it to us to the time it actually disperses. So from the time that it's actually filed. Okay, so it's that short amount of time, could be an hour, could be 2 days, 3 days, but it's a short amount of time. So it covers your funds during that window. Okay, and what it covers it from is from fraud, theft, or misappropriation of funds. Okay, obviously theft and fraud, we kind of understand those very well, but misappropriation of funds means the easiest one I can think of is so during a real estate transaction, your realtor is going to make sure that they give us what's called an escrow letter. And what that is it's like a summary of all of the fees that are supposed to be paid out. And so we're looking at the listing realtor, what they put on their escrow letter, and the buyer's realtor, what they're putting on their letter. So they're two different letters, and we're making sure that on both of theirs, A plus B equals C. Okay, so like a big old math problem.
Right.
And we just want to make sure that, first of all, those two line up, and then second of all, they line up with the contract. Because again, remember, our fiduciary responsibility is to make sure that that contract is executed down to the last letter of the law. Okay, so the easiest one, like I was saying, is in an instance of a trust. Okay, so I'm Andrea Hyatt, and let's just say I have a trust that is, let's just call it Title Girl Andrea Trust. Okay, and as Andrea Hyatt, I am the trustee. So the correct legal way to do it would be to disperse funds. Okay, so let's just say I'm the seller. So let's just say I'm getting $100,000 for selling my house. Whoop, whoop. Going to that happens. So I get $100,000 for closing on my house. As a trust, you have to have a bank account set up in that trust name in order to receive those funds. I can't just accept it as Andrea Hyatt. Okay.
Sure.
It has to be made out to that trust. Okay. So misappropriation of funds would be if a title company gave me, Andrea Hyatt, the check written out to my name. Okay, from a legal perspective, even though it's the Andrea Hyatt Trust, you can't just make it out to Andrea Hyatt. And that sounds a little weird because but
it makes sense to me though. If you have a trust, you have to have a bank account in that trust name. So I mean, that makes sense to me. And I can see if people have any further questions on how that works, they can definitely reach out to you and kind of ask about that.
And here's a caveat. I'm not an attorney, okay? So I'm not practicing law right here. I'm just trying to explain to you how that works from a legal standpoint.
Right.
You have to make it out to the trustee. If as Andrea Hyatt, let's just say I was a minor, I might not actually be the trustee of that trust.
Right.
So, okay. And what was your other?
I just want to clarify. I guess what I meant is if people have questions about closing cost coverage, they can come to you and ask you about that. And that does include if they hand over a check to the notary as well, right? Because the notary collects it.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yep.
Good. Yep. Okay. Last two questions. And again, we don't have much time left here, so I do want to wrap it up. But are all title companies equal? And explain just real quickly why are they not equal? Why are some title companies better than others, and why is American Title and under the Kingdom Title umbrella the best?
That is not a quick answer.
Well, somewhat quick.
Okay. Okay, I'll try to do this as quickly as I can. Okay, so first of all, we're not all created equally because just like as a real estate agent, you've got different people doing different things, and some people are just better at doing things. Some people are smarter.
Some people are better at their jobs.
Some people are seriously just better at their jobs. Some people are better singers.
Right.
I mean, some people just better, and we have the best people working with us. So that's number one. Number two, the examiners that you have doing the actual searching of the title and that chain of title. We happen to have 2 attorneys on our staff that handle the examination process. Not every title company has that. Not every title company uses examiners that are seasoned. Okay.
Right.
You're going back into these dusty old books sometimes to look at a chain of title that's really, really old. Some of them are really dated.
People are better at their jobs. Sorry.
Are you editing that part out?
No, and I'm just making sure I'm checking for the comments while we're going through this. Keep going.
So when you have a seasoned examiner, they understand those documents, even the old ones in the courthouses. They're consistently looking and checking these. They understand how to read meets and bounds. They just understand what they're doing. Really it comes down to experience. It's a really big deal. And so when you have experienced examiners, you're going to get a really quality search. And so at the end of the day, when you get title insurance, that's your fail safe really if your examiner screws up, but you don't want an examiner that's going to screw up in the first place.
What do the examiners look for when they do a title search? Like what are they, is it like a mechanic's lien, like something like that?
Yep. So they're looking for mechanics liens. They're looking for mortgages that are on property. It could be a mortgage that hasn't been paid off. Maybe it wasn't released properly. IRS liens, child support liens, judgment liens, like for a credit card. There's lots.
Child support liens? There's actually a such thing?
Oh, yes.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. People don't, if you don't pay, like it's recorded somewhere.
Right.
People think that it just goes away. It totally doesn't. Things attached to your social security number. So if you are a buyer out there and let's just say you jacked up some credit card debt and you got slapped with a lien, let's just say it was 7 years ago and it falls off of your credit report and you think, oh, I'm scot-free. Now I can go buy a house. It's not on my credit report. No. That judgment lien lasts for 15 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So your social security number. So it's not just, don't just think because you don't own any property that a judgment lien isn't attached to you. It's attached to your social security number. So that's a big one.
That's crazy.
The other thing that's really huge and what separates us is there's a difference between clear and marketable title. Some title companies out there are only going to search the property and do a transfer and give you insurance based on, okay, it's marketable. So there was a hiccup in the chain. We saw that a mortgage wasn't released properly, but it's been transferred since then. So they're going to assume the risk and they're just going to transfer it and not take care of that, what we call cloud on the title. Where what we're going to do is we're going to see that mortgage wasn't released properly, even if it was 2 transfers ago. We're going to make sure that cloud is taken care of. We're going to go to that other mortgage holder. We're going to get the release. We're going to get filed. That way, this new buyer, even though they're 2 transfers away from it, there's no way that they can ever be foreclosed upon for something that happened 2 transfers ago.
Right, a long time ago. I mean, that's really cool. I mean, that just displays the importance of the title company. So, you got your realtors, you got your lenders, and the third leg, like you were saying, is the title company. And they do this title search. They make sure, and that's why picking a title company is so important. So, when you're working with a realtor and they highly recommend a specific title company to the buyer because A, they have a good relationship with them. So if they communicate well with them, that's a good thing. But B, because they know that they've got great title and escrow officers working in that office for you, it's for your benefit. And thank goodness, none of my clients have ever run into a title issue after closing down the road. But that's a good thing. So they don't understand how important you are because they've never had to experience you in a negative way. You only hear about the negative things, right?
That's true. That's true. We do a lot of cleanup.
Yeah.
And so, I will never say that we are perfect because we're not. Nobody is. But we do our best to make sure that we do it right
Yeah.
and, to get it done right for the client so that in the future there's, no
Right.
crazy hiccup.
So I think that's really all the questions I have. I'm going to go back over here to these. Looks like we have quite a few people watching us and see if there was any questions.
Okay.
Hi, Dan. Hi, Jennifer, Tiffany, Gwen. So Gwen specifically asked, and I think she's going back to when we were talking about title companies. Or not title companies. We've been talking about title companies this whole time, talking about which counties are open and working right now. Gwen asked what's going on with Summit County, and that's a great question because honestly, most of my business and clientele is in Stark County and Summit County. So I think she just wants to know, are we e-filing in Summit County? Are we doing gap insurance in Summit County? Are we still closing? Can you just quickly tell us that?
Absolutely. So yes, we are e-filing in Summit County.
Okay.
They're one of the counties that allows us to do that, and they're temporarily closed to public access. They're not allowing anybody to come off the streets.
Okay.
But they do have a short window of time where they're letting our examiners come in. They still have to maintain that 6-foot rule, but our examiners do come in if they need to do the public records and do some searching. A lot of Summit County, we're really thankful for this. A lot of Summit County is online, and we can do a lot of examining online with them, but there are some records that are too old, so we have to physically go into the building.
Yeah, makes
So
sense.
they are allowing us short windows of time to go in, but they are doing e-filing as well.
Cool. So I have a quick story to tell. I tell this story all the time about Andrea. It's the cupcake story. Okay, so real quickly, going back to, before we wrap this call up, going back to why title companies are important. I had a closing in Tuscaroras County, which is a little south of myself, and they have not conventional closings that we're all used to in Stark and Summit and Medina, where you can go in and close the same day. They actually require some time in between filing and closing, correct?
And the reason for that is because they have to check the legal description on a deed, and they want to make sure that the legal description is correct. Now, most most counties, literally, you go up to the window, they check it, they check their records. It's about a five-minute process. They approve it right there in the spot, and then you go to the next window, do conveyance, and then the next window record. Sure. This particular county is not like that. They expect you a week ahead of time to send the deed and the legal description so they can check it. So apparently they don't need 5 minutes, they need a week. Sorry, go ahead.
So this happens, and I think actually, I'm not sure, but I think one of my clients who might actually be watching this video right now does have a closing coming up here in the next few weeks in Tuscaroras County, so it's good to remember that. But Andrea Hyatt, I didn't know this. I had never closed a home in Tuscaroras. I've closed since then in that county, but this was my very first closing with them, and they weren't going to file for like a few days. And I had buyers that had moving trucks ready to go. They had paid their down payment. They had closed. They had signed their stuff, but title wasn't going to transfer a few days. So Miss Andrea Hyatt and her bubbly self bought some cupcakes. You didn't make them, did you? You bought them, right? Okay, she bought some cupcakes, and she drove her butt an hour south into Tuscaroras County and walked into the courthouse and just told these ladies how much she appreciated them and gave them some cupcakes. And it was just such a sweet thing. There was no bribing involved. You were just being a nice human being and making a connection with some people. And it definitely helped move things along a little bit quicker, I'd say. And we got closed, and my buyers were very, very happy. So this is the title company that I choose to work with, and a lot of my realtor friends choose to work with, is people like Miss Andrea Hyatt right here. So um, anyway, so Andrew, do you have any closing comments before we shut down this live video here?
No, I don't think so. If you have any questions about real estate transactions, title, anything, my Facebook is Title Girl Andrea. You can post a question there. You can leave a comment on this video, anything, and I will try to answer what I can if you have any kind of questions about closing. Doesn't have to be, you know, a follow-up to anything that Nicole asked me. It can be just anything in general. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I appreciate
Yeah, awesome. I'm going to post Andrea's email address and phone number with the title company in the comments. So if any of you want to reach out to her directly, text is okay, I'm assuming, too. I don't know.
absolutely.
Yeah, if you want to reach out to her and you have any questions specifically for her, feel free to reach out. But thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. Appreciate it. Thanks, Andrea. Appreciate it. Go feed that baby. All right, I'll see you later.
All right, bye.
Bye.